Hi, this is Josh with Tactical Tech, and today I will be introducing you to the Inpatient Tracker or ipTrack. ipTrack was designed as a proof of concept for the type of EMR system that a Role 3 Army Field Hospital needs to track patients within the field hospital. ipTrack is a multi-user Microsoft Access database where the database tables can reside on a file share and the front-end application resides on each user's workstation, allowing multiple users or multiple different computers to interface with the same information over a network. Information in the database is localized and does not tie into any other electronic medical record systems. We open with the Field Hospital Main View. This view gives Patient Administration or PAD as well as the Field Hospital Command and Control element a holistic view of what ward each patient is assigned to, the number of patients in each ward, the incoming casualties, and the total number of patients within the hospital. When PAD is notified of an incoming casualty, they'll open up the Add Patient window. The patient is automatically assigned a trauma number, which is an ID within the field hospital used to track the patient. The patient will also be assigned a MIS number, which is a temporary bed name used to track them as an incoming patient. PAD will also give the patient an Emergency Severity Index or ESI number to denote the severity of the patient, with 1 being the highest priority and 5 the lowest. They will also assign them a triage category, which will be used for prioritizing casualties as they arrive. They will also fill out a brief MIST report denoting what the nature of the injury is. From here, the patient administration can enter in any other known information regarding the patient or continue to add in another new patient. When multiple patients are added in at the same time, they can cycle through the list of patients they have just added and edit information as needed if it wasn't entered in upon the initial entry of the patient. Once the casualties are all entered in, they'll simply click Save and Close. And that brings us back to the main view again. And you can see these patients are currently listed under MIST for incoming patient. This main view and just about every other view that we will cover in this video will update automatically by default every 30 seconds. All users throughout the field hospital will see these updates if they are running ipTrack linked to the same back-end database. Each ward also has its own view. This shows the patients that are currently assigned within their ward and the services that are due to those patients within the ward. Optionally, the ward can also see the patients that are incoming or that are not currently assigned to a ward. This may be beneficial to wards such as EMT or the Emergency Medical Tech ward. As patients are moved throughout the hospital, a ward can take ownership of the patient and assign the patient to a bed within their ward. If a service is needed for a patient, the provider can open up the patient record, request a new service, identify which service is required, put in a short description, add any attachments that might be necessary, and make that request. This brings us to the services view of that requested service. The service provider will be notified via audio alert when this view is open, and that will inform them that they have a new request waiting. The service provider will engage that request and change status, which will reflect in both the ward view as well as the patient view to keep the ward informed on what's going on with that request. Once that request is complete, the service provider will change the request to complete. The ward will see the status change to complete and then can acknowledge it. Once acknowledged, the request will disappear from the ward view, however it will still be accessible and viewable from the patient view. Let's take a moment to talk about logs. From the initial entry of the patient into the field hospital into the database system all the way until now, logs have been silently added in the background. A log was created when the patient was added into the database. A log was created when they were moved into a bed, another created when the service was requested, another log when the service was completed, and another log when the service was acknowledged by the ward. Each one of these log entries identifies the ipTrack user taking that action using their Windows login name. Patients also need to eat, and this is usually the responsibility of the Nutrition Care Division of the Field Hospital, or NCD. Some patients have dietary restrictions. Each patient can be assigned a nutrition type to match these dietary restrictions. For each meal, the NCD can generate a report telling them in a cross-tab query how many total meals of each type need to be prepared and how many of each type will be going into each ward, streamlining the distribution of the meals. The report also includes a checklist with what each patient is supposed to receive. You'll notice in the cross tab, one of the blocks is highlighted in red. That is because one of the patients within that block has a food allergy, and the Nutrition Care Division needs to ensure that meal won't contain ingredients that the patient is allergic to and can view the allergy by scrolling down further within the report to the checklist area. Patient administration also has the ability to view all patients sorted by triage category under the MCE or Mass Casualty Event view. This groups all incoming casualties by immediate, delayed, minimal, expectant triage categories. Ideally, the system would be installed on a tablet that PAD could take out to where the patients are being consolidated and used to collect more information on each one. If that is not an available option, PAD can also generate a report, print it out, and handwrite the information they need to collect on that report that can be used later for data entry back into the ipTrack system. The bed name that can be assigned to a patient is not restricted to beds available within the wards. A custom bed can be made on the fly as necessary. This is useful in cases where mass casualty events lead to more patients in the hospital than there are beds assigned, and we need to leave some patients in, say, the interchange, hallway, or service areas. These patients are still displayable in the ward view and the main view in the other section. Manifest for departures can also be generated using this system. Patient administration can filter patients whose 3899s are complete and are ready to be evacuated from the hospital. From this interface, PAD can add the patient to an exfil manifest and generate a paper manifest for all patients that should be evacuated out on that transport. Once the evacuation is complete, PAD can mark the exfil mission as complete, and each patient will automatically be marked as discharged with the information of how they were discharged in their patient record. Any patient entered into this database is never removed from the database, and the information regarding the patient will always be there to reference later regardless of the patient discharge status. If a patient is being discharged for return to duty or transported in some other method, the patient can just be marked as discharged with a given reason under the discharge notes. Thank you for watching this demonstration of ipTrack, the Field Hospital Inpatient Tracker. I'm Josh with Tactical Tech, and I hope you have a nice day.